Are you ready? A little party never killed nobody. So we gon' dance until we drop. Let's go on. A little party never killed nobody. Right here, right now is all we got.
Good evening. Good evening, Red Bull supporters, and welcome to the New York Red Bulls Town Hall. You can call this Town Hall 2.0. I think we can already sense a different atmosphere this time around. But of course, this is all about the club keeping that line of communication open with you, the supporters, the best fans in MLS, and that is why we are having this town hall meeting once again this season. So I'd like to welcome you again. My name is Tina Servastio. I'm the host and reporter of Red Bull Soccer on MSG Network, and I'll tell you what, it's an honor to be here tonight to moderate this town hall. I am just like you. This team means as much to me as you. It was the first team I was assigned to at MSG 8 years ago, back in Giant Stadium. So I've been through it all with you guys as well. I was there for the height of the Juan Pablo Angel years, through that Western Conference championship, the Western Conference. And of course, the pain that everyone went through when they did get defeated in MLS Cup. It's really neat to say that I've covered Thierry Henry's entire MLS career, and also to go through all the transitions that this team has gone through. Most beautifully, the opening of Red Bull Arena, of course, in March of 2010. But now, without any further ado, let's talk about the 2015 New York Red Bulls and open the floor up to you, the fans. Now, before we go any further, and I want to introduce the dais, this is being live streamed on NewYorkRedBulls.com. There are many children watching tonight, so we do want to watch the language a little bit. So just kind of keep that in mind. But we do want everyone to get their opportunity to talk. We're going to have Twitter questions as well. Just keep that whole little language thing in mind. So let's begin with our team president, Marc de Grandpré. He's right here, ladies and gentlemen. Head coach, Jesse Marsch. Sporting Director, Ali Curtis. And Red Bulls midfielder, captain, and newly engaged, Daxon Carty. And before we open up the mic, and I'm going to lay out the ground rules now so we can get right into the questions. When you have a question, do raise your hand from your seat, and then one of our fan services representatives will come, they'll bring you over, just so we have 100 people lined up at the microphone. And you will be on camera when you ask your question as well. Give your name, how many years you've been a season ticket holder, and remember that whole little language thing. But we're going to start with some opening comments. And Marc, why don't you start us off?
Thank you, Tina. First of all, there's still time for you to leave. Frank is not recovered yet from the first round, all right? So if you want to get out of here, go ahead. And I assume Dax lost a bet in the locker room, and that's why he's here. In all seriousness, first of all, thanks to all of you for being so passionate this season. It's been a great season, and your energy in the building has helped us win a lot of games in here, and we hope you continue to do it game in and game out, and we really appreciate it. A few months back, we asked you to be patient with us, right? As we start to build an organization that you can be proud of day in and day out. And I think that at this point in the game, hopefully you all appreciate the progress we've made. We're not done yet, but we've made some progress, and I just want to thank you for believing in us and supporting us and coming game in and game out and providing us with the greatest atmosphere in the MLS. So thank you.
Didn't expect to be sitting in the seat so quickly, back here again. But I said last time afterwards, publicly often, and privately as well, that I actually enjoyed this last time we did it. And I think it was a great opportunity for everybody to speak their mind. It was a chance for everybody to get to know me and Ali and Marc and what we're trying to do here and what we're trying to achieve and what our vision is. One of the things we talked about is putting a team on the field that every night went after it, right? That gave everything they had every single night. And I think that we can say that this group has done that. Through successes, through failures, the whole bit, this team has put it all out there on the line. And you can also be rest assured that we're not done. You know, this group is very hungry for more. It's been a successful season so far, but we're far from done, and the ultimate goal is still in the back of our minds every day, every moment. And so, you know, I've asked these guys, the phrase that we've used is to be all in every day. And I can say to a man that Dax has led that way, and to a man, every guy shows up to work and gives everything that he has. So it's been a pleasure to work with this group. You know, I look forward to hearing your comments and questions tonight, and I hope that we continue to make you proud. So thanks.
First and foremost, I just wanted to say thank you for everyone here, everyone in the room. It's been a very special last 8 months. This group of people that's in the crowd, the guys here on the stands have put in a lot of work this year, and we've had some special moments. It's been truly awesome. We still have a lot of work to do in getting after it every day, but it's been great getting to know Dax, getting to work with Jesse, getting to work with Mark and the whole crew. And it's been an unbelievable year. We've got to keep it going. We still have a lot of competitors. We still have a lot of work to do, a lot of progress to make. But we enjoy every minute of it, and we're going to keep it going. And just like Mark and Jesse already said today, we're here to work our butts off and make you guys proud and about what's happening with not just with the first team, but this entire club. So. It was a tough town hall the last time. We hope this will go better, but we hope that you're patient with us and we continue to make you proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Ali. From my perspective, guys, I didn't lose a bet, Mark. I wanted to be here as the captain and the leader of the team, and you know, one of the guys that's you know, been around this club for a long time and a little bit more outspoken. You know, you guys all deserve to have this opportunity. I watched the first town hall, and obviously it was never going to be an easy thing. But now that we're doing another one, hopefully it'll be a little bit more positive. Luis gave me some pointers, and the first piece of advice he gave me was just beat DC, and it'll be a little bit easier, I think. So we took care of that part, and now I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to hear what you guys have to think about, you know, the team, the organization of the direction of the club, and I just, from the bottom of my heart and all the players, no matter what happens off the field, no matter anything that happens, positive or negative, from our perspective, you guys push us on. You guys make us better, and you guys make this arena the fortress of MLS, and it is the crown jewel of MLS. And every time we step on the field here, we have a firm belief that we're going to win in front of you guys. And so, keep coming out, keep supporting us, keep being there for us, even through the good times and the bad. You know, things are going well right now, but I can promise you that we're not satisfied. Jesse ran us through a pretty damn hard session today, and my team lost, so I'm a little sensitive right now. So please, thank you so much for being here. Looking forward to what everyone has to say, and let's get it going.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, with the team number one right now in MLS and Power Rankings, number one in points per game in MLS, and second in the Eastern Conference, just two back of that first top spot. We're going to expect some positive engagement tonight. Again, raise your hand. We're going to open up the floor right now. One of our fan services representatives will bring you on over to the microphone. Remember your name, how many years you've been a season ticket holder, and also, too, like I said earlier, we're taking questions on Twitter as well. If you feel your question or statement might not get out there, hashtag RBNY Town Hall, and I'm going to read some of those questions as we go along here tonight. All right, so let's begin.
Okay, 20-year member, RB120. Corrado Gigante is the name. And my question is not so much a question, but a concern about the lack of media coverage. Star Ledger. What's the story, Mark? Can you fill us in? It's like a blind spot. Here we are across the river from Newark, and they don't cover the Red Bulls. We have to get the record. We have to get I'll find it in the New York Times, but nothing here in the Star Ledger. What's the story? There's a backstory here somewhere.
So, great question, and thank you for being a Red Bull 120. That's impressive, and thanks for 20 years of support. Listen, the coverage has been going up, obviously, this year with all the activity around the team across the river, the game, the interest in the game rising. The Star Ledger is, to your point, an exception right now, and we've had our challenges there. I think there's challenges internally there. There's challenges inside their business model, what they're doing, where they're going, and I trust you that, trust me that Jason and his team are working extremely hard every day to make sure we get more coverage out of the Star Ledger. We've seen tremendous progress with the Record, the Times, and all the New York daily publications, and that's one area where we know we need to close the gap is the Star Ledger, and it's a focus of ours.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And also, too, when you have your questions, we would just like to hold back on a follow-up question just so we can get as many people in as possible tonight. So keep it to one question.
Hi, I'm Paul Vernick. This is year one for me, and as we all noticed, we have a great group of young guys besides our veterans, based on Miazga, Davis. How are you guys, as the organization, going to be able to keep them from the big European teams that have tons of cash to spend?
Thank you. It's a great problem to have. You know, we've got great coaches in our academy system, and we want to continue to foster an environment where we're playing younger players, and you see that. Excited to get Tyler Adams going next year, of course. So it's a good problem to have. We got to manage it appropriately. You know, the better teams in MLS that develop players and that play young players, that's going to happen. And not only happens with clubs in MLS that are doing it right, but it also happens with European clubs. You know, there's always interest in players if they're doing well and they're young. So Matt's had a great season. We've got other younger players on our teams that have great seasons as well. So we just need to keep it up, keep progressing, keep working hard, keep developing these players, and hopefully we have those problems and those challenges year on year. So we look forward to the challenge.
Thank you, and congrats, Dax.
Thank you.
Okay, good evening, everybody, and hi, Tina. Thanks for being the best. I mean, you're amazing. All right now I'm gonna put it on Dax. How you doing, Dax? I'm Marcos. I've been coming to the game ever since Red Bull Arena opened, and it's such a great event to bring the family, and it keeps growing, and the atmosphere just keeps getting better. Now, my question for you is this. Now, your Thierry Henry was a great thing for us. It made us give us some attention. Now you are our captain. You are our glue, and I just wanted to tell you more of anything. I see the hustle you put out there. It's amazing. What have you learned now being a captain, and how you think to keep things going the way they are in a positive sense?
Great question. Well, first, let me say that obviously following in a guy like Thierry Henry's footsteps is it's not an easy task. And I think that everyone in this room knows what Thierry meant to this club and how positive an influence he was on everyone. So I learned a lot from him as a leader, as a player. You could talk to him for 5 hours about soccer and he wouldn't even break a sweat. So for me, I've had a little bit of an interesting career path. I mean, obviously, this isn't the first time I've been a captain of a team, and I won't mention their name because I know in this room, that's a bad word. So I won't say their name, but this is the second time I've been named a captain of a team, and I think what I wanted to do first and foremost was look at what I could have learned from my first stint that didn't go as well. So I wasn't ready to be a captain back then, and I think I was a young guy. I was 23, 24 years old, and I still had a lot to learn, and I was still trying to figure out who I was as a player. And so when I was named captain this time around, I really tried to take it head on, and I tried to say, okay, this is not just a job where you can just focus on yourself. You have to focus on every little detail of the team and of the club, and you have to be the conduit between what the coaching staff wants and what the fans want, and then the players on your team. And I think more so than anything, and the thing that I have to give Jesse a lot of credit for, and something that he's really helped me out a lot with, is being just a leader by example. No matter what happens on the field, whether it's positive or negative, if we go down a goal, if we go down 2 goals, I'm the guy that some guys are going to look to say, okay, what do we have to do to get going? And if my attitude and if the way that I play on the field is positive, and if you guys see that I'm pouring everything that I have into it, then the players are going to follow me. And that's sort of the message that Jesse has wanted to send through everyone. And it's not just myself, it's guys like Sasha, guys like Bradley, guys like Lloyd, Luis Robles, obviously. I mean, the older group, and I've said this before, I'm not the only captain on the team. We have 5 or 6 captains. I might be the one that wears the armband, but I have 5 or 6 guys around me that all know what we want to accomplish here at this club. And when you have young players, as our friend mentioned earlier, as good as we have, I think the club is going in a really positive direction. So, look, you see what we put out on the field every day, and I'm just hoping that we can continue to do that for you guys.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's John Samolis, 4-year season ticket holder. Unlike what I said in the last town hall meeting, I did renew. First, I want to say thank you and congratulations to your, being engaged. And second, this is not a question, but a comment for you, Ali, and then a question for D Grand Prix. I want to say I'm sorry, Ali, for calling you out in front of your kid at the USL match. That was unprofessional of me. Your kid did not deserve that. I still don't trust you in D Grand Prix because we're in the same situation as we are in the last 5 years. First, second, third place, early September. We have done nothing yet. That leads to my question, D Grand Prix. Curtis and Marsh, they took the Open Cup seriously this year. I'll applaud them for that. Now, you knew full well that the U.S. Open Cup potential dates, you scheduled a match against Chelsea on a potential U.S. Open Cup game, and it bit us in the butt because we had to play here 4 o'clock on a Tuesday. Can you promise us, yes or no, that you'll never schedule an Open Cup game again against Chelsea? I'm not against Chelsea, but in general, during an Open Cup match. And it's not funny.
Fair question. That's a fair question. Listen, we understood when we decided to participate in the ICC that there was a 1 in a million chance that we would be against an opponent that wouldn't be flexible enough to move that Open Cup date. Any other club, we were aware, would be willing to move, and it so happened that Philly advanced. They weren't willing to move the date, so we had options across the board to make it happen. We played at 4 o'clock, and I think Jesse and Ali put the best possible team we wanted out there. And they gave their all, and it went down to PKs. So at that point, it's a coin toss,
Yeah, but
right?
they're in 9th place.
So
They're in 9th place.
we
should
were
have
well
killed
aware
them.
of the situation. We did everything we could to avoid it. It happened, 1 in a million. Hopefully it won't happen again.
Obviously happened. But thank you.
Hi there, Timothy Hall. Hi. Hello. From the Empire Supporters Club. A question for Messrs. De Grand Prix and Curtis, but also for Dax as well. I know you guys won't specifically comment on one specific player's contract status for a number of obvious reasons, but let's hypothetically say there was a really handsome ginger who was in his contract year. Not me. Let's hypothetically say there was a really handsome ginger in his contract year. What is the club's policy, strategy in terms of trying to nail down players that you want long-term, signing them to contracts mid-season or waiting till the end of the season, as the Yankees used to do back in the day, to try to get all these guys to long-term contracts to avoid the new free agent system and so forth?
It's a good question. Thank you. So we want Dax here, and I think Dax enjoys being part of the Red Bull family. Dax and I have had conversations about this throughout the entire year, and so we want Dax to be part of our club. We'll talk about this at the end of the season. We've got a lot of work to do. We've got a big game against Chicago next. We're focusing on what's going on in training in those games, and we'll take it step by step. And hopefully we'll be able to work something out.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. I know Ali wasn't going to comment on any status or anything like that, but I wanted to clear something up. I'm not in my contract here. I have 1 year left on my contract. It's the club's option, so it's up to them, obviously, to pick it up. But I just wanted to clear up any confusion. I still have 1 year left on my deal. I know Ali wasn't going to talk about it because obviously that's their policy. But like he said, we've had conversations, and this club means a lot to me, and you guys know that. The focus for us right now, and this is what I've told my agent, this is what I've told these guys, is that we have a championship to win. And I'm not doing my job if I'm sitting here focusing on, what I need to do to get the best possible contract. That's not what you guys deserve, and that's not what our team deserves. So for me, if I'm going to be the best captain I can be, I have to focus on going to training every day, trying to be a better player, and coming out on the field and working hard and winning a championship, because that's the ultimate goal. So just to clear everything up.
Get a Twitter question in. You can hang out there for 1 second. We're gonna, since we opened it up to Twitter, we're gonna quickly get one question in. So this one came from Jake Perazone at JZone93, and this question specifically for Ali. Can you elaborate on the relationship between RBNY and the global Red Bull soccer organization?
Yeah, so we have a good relationship with all of our global properties, Salzburg, Leipzig, Brazil. I think it'll continue to get better as we stay here a little bit longer. So we've got a lot of our youth teams. They just got back from Salzburg playing over there. A number of our players will train there in the off season, not just at the first team, but also at the academy level. We share resources and best practices as it pertains to scouting players globally. I'm on the phone pretty regularly, a couple times a week with some of my counterparts from the various Red Bull family. We've got a great performance center in Santa Monica run by extremely smart gentleman by the name of Andy Walsh, who deals with a lot of different Red Bull athletes as it pertains to skateboarding and surfing and all those things. So we're really trying to take advantage of the Red Bull global properties as much as possible, and we're in constant communication throughout. So every now and then when we have a game and we get a good result, we'll get a text message from a sporting director in Salzburg saying, hey, great job, and we try to do the same. So from that standpoint, it's been really helpful and been really cool. So yeah.
Thank you. All right, thank you for waiting. Now it's your turn.
Hi, my name's Richard McDougall. I've been a season ticket holder for 12 seasons, and my daughter has been a season ticket holder for 8, and Dax Charlotte says hello. I want to start by saying that Dan Kaiserman is my season ticket rep, and he does a great job. He does an amazing job. And he has been suffering what I want to talk about. My daughter and I sit in section 106, row 17. A couple of months ago, the blue canvas barriers from section 106 to 113 were lowered to about 3 or 4 feet. Sections 107 through 112 have ADA seating, which means that there's a 5-foot-high, 6-inch thick concrete wall protecting the fans sitting in the back row. In 106 and 113, there's nothing. That blue barrier was the only protection between the traffic on the concourse and the top of our heads. Now what happens is that fans get to our section. It's an amazing view of the field. They hang over, they have a conversation, they slosh their beer, they drop their food. And you know those words you don't want me to say? Much worse conversations than that. I mean, the things my daughter listens to is amazing. I understand that those were dropped to improve the view from the club and the pub. 106 and 113 don't block the view from the club and the pub, so I don't know why they were dropped. But I implore you to please put them back in place so that we can come back to enjoying the games again. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks for 12 years of commitment. Thanks to you and your daughter. Number one, we're well aware of the problems and the challenges you're having during matches. We're trying to figure out a solution that's going to enable us to keep the view open for the club and make sure that you don't get disturbed and you don't hear conversations you don't want to hear. We're working with our security staff, and we're working on also maybe adding infrastructure around the wall that keeps folks a couple of feet away, that it makes it impossible for them to be leaning over, spill their drinks on you and all that. So it's not going to be addressed for the next match, but we will address it and fix it for you. I promise you that.
Thank you.
Hey, my name's Chris Cruz. I'm a 2-year season ticket holder, and this question's for Mark. With the rise of popularity of women's soccer after the World Cup, I'm just wondering if Red Bull's ever going to have a partner with an NWSL team like Sky Blue FC and have them play here at Red Bull Arena?
Great question. Again, thanks for your 2-year support. So we have a lot of work to do here, right? We understand we're just getting started, and we need to stay focused on the task at hand. And it's not to say that in the future we won't participate or invest or support women's soccer. We absolutely support it across our youth development platform. We have RDS schools just for girls. And our objective when we look at the community is to be all-encompassing, and it's young girls, young boys, and develop them through the system as far as we can. And ultimately, maybe down the line, it's something we will look at. But right now, we have a clear focus on our first team, the USL, the academy, and our development program, and we're going to stick to that goal, that focus right now.
Thank you.
While our next supporter is making his way up to the microphone, let's get another quick Twitter question in. And there's no media here tonight, but we do want to give a shout out to Frank Giassi. He's covering it for NewYorkRedBulls.com. So there will be coverage of this town hall meeting for everyone to read about later on tonight when you get home on the web. All right, this is from Adrian Barron, at Adrian Barron 7, if you're watching at home. The question is, with the use of analytics, is the team going to continue to push forward with things such as strict player nutrition to optimize play? Maybe Coach or Ali?
Yeah, maybe we can.
Repeat? Dax is like, no more nutrition.
Maybe we can tackle this in 2 parts. We want to use analytics in every way possible such that we can improve performance. You know, at a basic level, you look at kind of goals scored and an assist, but we want to look at more advanced metrics that we can use to kind of drive performance into the team. We're not there yet. We're just beginning. We hope to get a dedicated person involved, but even still, when you look at the different data systems that we have, you see in terms of duels won, in terms of ball recoveries, interceptions, and you look at them in the various parts of the field, you see that we're increased since last year 30 to 50%, which is awesome, and it's really exciting to look at. From a nutrition standpoint, we look at, we serve breakfast to all the players, we serve lunch as well. We look at our menu as we travel in every market that we have. We have a nutritionist that helps us along, configure that menu year on year, and she's been great. She works with the players to customize what daily nutritional menus, what intake and outtake. We've been looking at our hydration. So we've been looking at a number of things to improve the nutrition, improve the physicality of our players, and ultimately so we can go out on the field and work our butts off and win games.
Yeah, I'll answer a little of that too. We're pretty on top of these guys and making sure that physically that they put themselves in a good situation to perform. Obviously, with the way we play, it's very demanding of them. So they have an app on their phones, and every day they have to fill out how much they slept, what their hydration is, how they feel, their soreness. So, and it's another area that we use to help the players, more than anything, educate them on how they can understand themselves better and put themselves in a position to succeed. This morning they had a hydration test. So, and I've told them from the beginning that it's not done to babysit. It's honestly done to help educate them how they can perform at their max, right? And the more guys that we can put on the field that are fit, that are strong, that are healthy, that can go 100%, makes us better. And I think that we've shown that over the season, that we're fitter, that we're younger, that we're more explosive, that we're more dynamic, and it helps us be on top of games. So it's in all these ways we're trying to create an environment every day where physically these guys understand who they are and how they can get better.
Your turn.
Hi, my name is Oscar Torres. I'm a season holder for 20 years. And I could tell you, thank you. But I have never been as exciting as I am in this year. This man came, he asked for an opportunity. We were very upset on February. Oh, very upset. I was just about to leave everything. And thanks to Jamie Malley and Tim Sinclair, they kept me in. Jamie used to call me, says, Oscar, where are you going to go? But I did was upset very much. And Tim called me and says, give the guy a chance. And Jesse, you a man of your promise. You just asked for a chance, and not that you need it, but I'm telling you, you got my support. You my capitan. You my skipper. And Dax McCarty, I have seen nobody work as hard as you do on the field. I used to hate you when you were at DC United. Oh. But now I can say I love you very much, and I love this team. I have no question for you guys because you're doing an excellent job. You got my approval.
Hi, I'm Tom. I've been a season ticket holder for 5 years. That's literally what I was exactly going to do. I just wanted to say that that there's now like a unit cohesion within this squad and within this team, that the ability, we have depth. We didn't have depth before. Now we have depth. We can switch out players right into a slot. And that makes me happy. I just wanted to say that I'm really happy with the way the club is going right now. And I thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Let me just respond by saying that, the sophistication and the infrastructure that's been created within the team is a microcosm of what we're doing with this organization, all right? Because obviously the end goal and end result is to have the best team, first team as possible, but we're trying to build something from the grassroots that includes the academy, that includes our scouting network, that includes our fans and our front office in all ways, so that now this is a 5 and 10 year plan where, okay, we've had a good first 8 months, but the goal is that in 5 years from now, this thing is humming along and we're kicking out youth products and we're the top team in the league every year. We're competing for trophies every year. And the start has been good, but we're going for it all this year, all right? But the idea in mind is that this is going to be something that's sustainable for years to come, and it's going to be long after Ollie and I are gone, or Mark's gone, or Dax is gone, or whatever. But this team we want an identity to move forward forever, and that's what we're trying to do.
Hi, I'm Rafael Tavares. I've been a season ticket holder for 5 years. My question is about a problem I have viewing the games on MSG. The last 2 away games, which I try to watch, were being broadcast, but I had no way of watching it. I just simply got a blank screen. Conversation with Time Warner Cable indicated that the problems with Madison Square Garden. If the image comes in, it's pixelated. And the last game, the Chicago game, I wasn't able to view at all. And the fact that I was able to view every other channel, I was denied the chance to view the game. I did listen to it on the radio, but this has been actually a problem for a few years where when you tune in the Red Bulls games, either you get no image or the image is pixelated the entire game, and it's very, very frustrating. You can imagine anticipating the whole night to watch a game, and when you go to turn it on, you simply get a blank screen. Well, they've wired in the neighborhood, but they still haven't come to our building. But it's been a problem for years, actually. But maybe something you could address.
I appreciate you bringing it up to our attention. I'll make note of it, and we'll discuss it with MSG, our partner, and make sure that we can avoid this problem in the future. I apologize.
Good evening. My name's Jason, first-year ticket holder. My question's for Dax and Jesse. How did it feel for you to be in an away game in Yankee Stadium, 15,000 Red Bull fans screaming nonstop? How did that feel?
Pretty freaking great. Yeah, that was a fun game. That was one of the most enjoyable games I think I've ever played in, merely for the fact that, you know, they've come in, they've made a lot of noise with everything that they've done, their signings and all that stuff. But I think that, you know, what we did, especially in the second half, I don't know, that was right around the time where, you know, we were struggling a bit. We weren't in the best form, and I think that second half has kind of propelled us on and has given us confidence to go and go on this run that we've been on. So the fact that we could share that with you guys, and that you guys came and they tried to put you guys as far away as possible, but we could still hear you guys loud and clear every time we scored. I'm just mad we didn't score on the other end where you guys were. So that was one of the most enjoyable games I played in. So that's big hats off to you guys.
Yeah, and I'll say you guys played no small part in that. You know, I mean, you guys being there and the presence that you had, and it was weird how they put you there, and then but like the big band of red and the noise that came from it. I mean, like, I don't know, when the national anthem goes and you guys yell red, like that gives these guys chills, right? I mean, that gets them going. So in that game, you guys played a huge part in making sure that we came back in that game and that we made sure that New York is red. So thank you guys. Thank you guys.
I think it's a good time to throw in this Twitter question, because to follow up with the supporters question, and I guess, Mark, you can answer this. With the growth of supporters, will Red Bulls look to extend the South Ward?
That's in your hands, guys. Get more members, and we will absolutely extend it as far as we can, up, down, left, right. It'll grow as much as the demand is there. So, yeah, we will definitely grow up if we need to, but we still have some work to do down in the South Ward right now in some games. All right?
Hi, Ira Jersey. This is my third year, and I'm already a 2016 ticket holder. So my son has enjoyed watching the team the last 3 years. He now loves soccer. Dax, we have your jerseys numbers on our backs, except for my son. He's a Bradley supporter. So, yeah, question for you. When it comes to things like, you know, when you're called up to the national team, or Luis or Matt is going to play, how concerned are you, as I know some people are in some of our discussion groups on Facebook and Twitter, about injuries and things that might happen because of those very senior level of play? I guess, Jesse, that's probably the best question for you.
Okay. Yeah, you know, I came from the national team as well, so I kind of have it from both sides. You know, I think those experiences are big experiences for players, and they give them a lot of confidence. They give them belief in themselves, and I think, and even when now they're exposed to playing games at that level and representing their country, I think they grow. They grow as people and they grow as players. And if I were to use Matt as an example, we could have kept Matt, you know, and had him not go to the U20s. But, you know, we felt strongly that for him to go to that tournament and play amongst his peers and try to establish himself on the world stage against some of the best young players in the world, the hope was that he would go there and now be able to exercise leadership, be able to show what kind of player he is, be able to grow and prove himself amongst his peers, and that when he comes back, he's better for it. And I think that Dax and I can both say that we have seen that from Matt, that experience for him was big, and when he played well on that stage, that really has helped galvanize his confidence and his belief in himself. You know, he's come back, I think, more vocal. He's a bigger leader. His presence on the field has grown. And so ultimately, when you have those experiences, that's what you're hoping, that that they become bigger.
Thanks.
Hey guys, my name is Josh Gabriel. I've been a season ticket holder since 2011. I just wanted to congratulate all of you for a great season so far. My question is for Mark. It's regarding possibility of having a radio deal for our games. Everyone knows that we are able to stream games online in English and Spanish, but I was wondering if there is a radio deal in the works in the English language.
Great question, and again, thanks for being a ardent supporter over the years. So ultimately, right, as the media landscape is changing, we ultimately believe that everything's going to be over the air and digital, right, and streaming. So obviously this year we've brought English and Spanish on the digital stream, and soon we'll be announcing a 24/7 channel on TuneIn that will be all Red Bulls all the time. So. We will be the first MLS team to have this, and as you've noticed also, many of our matches have been picked up on Sirius lately, and hopefully that continues. But ultimately, I don't think we're going to do a traditional radio broadcast deal. We're going to keep streaming and work with TuneIn moving forward.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, before the next live question, I have to apologize to Mr. Boots and Pants. That was our Twitter question about the supporters section. It's actually at Nick Zangi Jr. So I know I guess he's watching online. Or are you here, Nick? No? Okay, he's watching home. I'm sorry, Nick. All right, that Mr. Boots and Pants. So next question, next supporter, Mr. Boots and Pants. That's his come up. But I'm also going to ask this. This is a good question here right now, and I guess this could be for Ali or Mark. Another town hall question here. This is from Jason at Dr. Stooge. Are there any plans to establish a residency program for the academy?
So a residency program, that is something that we have discussed extensively this year. As you know, youth development is a big part of who we are and who we want to be. Last month we had a meeting. Mark and I went into the league office and met with a lot of the executives there with a particular university in terms of a partnership. We have another follow-up meeting, I think, in a week or a week and a half with a particular university. So for us, a big part of youth development is about coaching, and it's about repetition. So we need to figure out a way in which we can have the best coaches, but also a platform such that our players can continuously play every day, maybe even twice a day. So we're aware of it. We've got to figure a solution out, whether it's in person, whether it's online education, whether that's for high school, whether that's for college. But we've got this great platform in what the USL is doing, and we also need to provide that access for our academy players and our first team players. So it'll be a huge endeavor, but it's one that we have our pulse on for sure.
Next.
My name is Edward Solomon. I actually was a season ticket holder in the very first 2 seasons when it was the Metro Stars, dropped off, and then 3 years ago I came back here for the first time for a game, and I've been a season ticket holder ever since. That being said, I do have 2 questions. Before I do that, though, I want to compliment not just you guys, but a lot of the staff you guys have behind the scenes that don't get the recognition, that have had to deal with the constant calls and the barrages and all the kind of craziness that's occurred in this season. So congratulations to all of them and compliments to them because they've done a really good job. So the 2 questions I have, one for you, Mark, and then the second for probably for Jesse, Ali, and Dax is first, now that we've coined this New York is red, when are we going to get a red jersey?
It's a very good question. It's timely. This afternoon, I was talking to our graphic designer, and she was working on some future jerseys. I can tell you that the home kit will never be red, so I will make that clear. There will always be a mix of white and red, but the away kit at some point in the future may be red. So that's all I'll say. All right.
So the second question I have is, when the team has brought the passion and had a chip on their shoulder all season, whether it's against NYCFC, whether it's against DC United, whoever it is, you guys have brought it like you just rocked it. How do you make sure you replicate that when we're playing teams like the Chicago Fires, where we didn't do that, and especially since we're playing them a couple more times, and that could be the difference between having home field or the supporter shield or whatever, which I think is really, really important this year, especially considering how you guys totally rock it here. If you look at the record in the last, 5 games, we haven't lost a single game, 4 shutouts, 13 goals, 1 against. I mean, this is a fortress. How do you guys make sure that you retain that going in, especially towards the tail end of the season?
So good question, and I don't know who had the comment about the MSG stuff. I think it was Oscar, maybe. Was that it? Anyways, just be thankful you didn't see that game, man. So I've played in MLS for 10 years now, and it's hard for me to say, hard for me to believe. But honestly, I think it's gotten harder every single year to go on the road and get results. And I think if you look overall at our results on the road, they've been fairly positive. And I think we probably have one of the better road records in the league. With that being said, the game against Chicago, I think it was a tough game for all of us. It was a little bit of an anomaly. We had a weekend off, and we just weren't quite sharp enough. And I think the one thing that the coaching staff and the players, we try to do a good job of is saying to ourselves, listen, it's easy to get up for games against NYCFC, DC United, LA Galaxy, these teams that have a little bit more history with us and a little bit more prestige. But, like you said, playing the teams that aren't quite as, doing so well in the season or not quite our biggest rivals, there's always going to be a question of are they going to be up for it. And I can promise you with every ounce of my being that the whole narrative going into that Chicago game was don't have a letdown. Physically, mentally, make sure that we're all over the game. And I think if you really go back and watch the game, it was a pretty intense game, and it was a good game in terms of the fact that we were physical, we were ready for the game, we were ready for the battle. We just weren't quite good enough. And you know what? That happens sometimes, and it sucks to say, but unfortunately, you just have bad games. I had a bad game. I think every guy on the field played a little bit below their level that they've been trying to keep all year. And when that happens, you're bound to have a bad game. So it's a great question, and it's one that I can promise you will never see a lack of effort or a lack of will or a lack of wanting to win the game. That's something that we are trying to establish here for forever. But when the quality's not quite there, that's when you run into problems. And I think we're trying to still figure that out as a team. When we aren't playing our best, how can we still get results, especially in tough environments? Because when the playoffs roll around, you might not be at your best on the road, but you're still going to have to try to get results and get wins, and that's what we're working on. So I can promise you the mentality will always be right. Now, whether we play well, that's another story, but I can promise you the mentality for these last 9 games will be to win every one of them.
Sometimes? Okay, here we go. One of our approaches is to be aggressive on the road and go after games, right? And playing on the road isn't easy, and sometimes it's travel, elevation, but we will go after every game. We're never going to go into a game on the road and say, all right, we're going to sit back this game, or we're going to try to absorb pressure. The way we play at home, we try to replicate that on the road, and you have to make little tactical adjustments to make sure that you're not giving things away. But we lead the league in goals on the road, and we're very aggressive on the road. And in the end, I think that will be a good thing for us in the playoffs as well. If you score goals on the road in the playoffs, that sets up well for you to come home and get results. So this team's aggressive, okay? We're going to score goals. We're going to go after it every game, and that includes some of these on the road. Part of it now is that teams watch us, and they see the energy that we play in, and they know when they come to play us that they have to be up for the match. Okay, so we're getting best versions of teams at times, but that's okay. We want that, right? We want to play the best version of every team we play, and we want to show that we can still come out winners. So we're establishing the mentality. We're establishing what games look like. We're establishing how we want to play, and it's only about now taking it levels higher and higher and higher. So Chicago was not good. Okay, it was not, but. I think we've learned from that. We're better for it. And next time we play Chicago, which is coming up on Friday, next Friday, we'll be ready for it. And next time we go on the road, we'll be ready for it.
Hey guys, John Geiser, about 13 years strong since I was a small guy the size of Conor Lade. My question's for Coach Jesse. You took the US Open Cup very seriously. That reflected in the lineup that you chose for each of those games. If we were to qualify for the CONCACAF Champions League, where would that stand in your priorities list?
it's down the road. Okay, I mean we have to get there, and to be honest, I haven't even started to wrap my mind around that. But for sure, one of the things even in building a deep roster is there will be moments and seasons and games and everything else that you have to rely on your full roster to perform. I understand that last year when this team played, that now there weren't a lot of good lineups in those games. Any competition we enter, we want to win. Okay, even I think obviously the ICC, as much as it was sort of a faux competition, we put that young team that went on the field against Chelsea. They went out to win, right? And then I even think then when we had more of the regulars against a very good Benfica team, that they went after that game too. So the way there's no nights off. Okay, there's no days off with this. It's every day full throttle. Like we don't want to lose any games. Period. And it doesn't matter who's on the field or, we believe in what we're doing here. We believe in the young players that we're building. We believe in the system we've put in place. The guys understand their roles. They're committed to it. It's one of the reasons why you've seen, how many different back lines have we played and we've given up the fewest goals in the league. So there's a structure in place and the players understand it. They're committed to it and it helps them to go on the field and perform. So, I haven't even thought about the Champions League yet, but when we get there, be rest assured that we're going to go after it.
What did Ben Olsen say to you after the game? What did Ben Olsen say to you after the game on Sunday? If you can comment on that. There's no media here, so you can do it.
I said no follow-ups. No.
Thank you.
We've had great questions here tonight. It's already 25 after 8. So whoever's standing, you will be able to ask your question. Come on up. You can come up. But we are going to just go with the group that's still standing. So we're going to keep it going until we get to the end of that line. And I won't interrupt with the Twitter questions anymore.
Hey guys, Mark Fishkin, 20-year season ticket holder. Hello. It's good to talk to you all. I've got two quick questions. I think both for Mark. First of all, I think Members Plus has been a really cool addition to the New York Red Bulls fan experience. Really innovative and interesting. A lot of the people in this room spend a lot of time and money traveling to see the team play on the road. And I think a lot of fans here would love to see some recognition in Members Plus points when they travel and support the team on the road.
Great idea. So we'll work on it. Great idea. Absolutely.
So Larissa Perino's idea. Raise your hand, Larissa. That's terrific. Secondly, the USL team has been terrific for the entire organization. I think that's pretty plain. It's not hard to notice when watching games on YouTube that hasn't exactly been a massive hit at the box office. And I'm just kind of wondering, do you see the development of a fan base for that team as part of your mission? Will they continue to play at Red Bull Arena next year? I know that they played, I think, one game in the Bronx at Columbia, and then that stopped. Thank you, in the city. And so if you could just kind of take us through that and where you see that team as a spectator opportunity. Thanks.
So obviously, it's our first year with the USL franchise. We put it together pretty quickly, and I think it's been a success in terms of Ali and Jesse's perspective on the sporting side. If you look on the business and front office side, right, the objective was to be at Columbia and play at Columbia and have a footprint in the city. There was a change in leadership at Columbia in their athletic department. And they wanted us to continue the relationship, but under different parameters that we agreed to. So we felt it was not going to be a professional environment for our team and for our fans if we could only show up before match a few hours before and set up. It just was not going to be professional enough for the players and the fans. So we made the decision to step away from Columbia, play the remainder of the season here, and we are investigating a few options now where we'll have a permanent home for the club that will be much more intimate, that will be the home for our Red Bull New York 2 team. And we absolutely want to develop a core young fan base that's going to be very local, hyper-local, where we end up playing. Absolutely.
Thank you. And just on a personal note, I'd like to thank you, the entire organization, so much for the support of the show. I know there are a lot of listeners here that listen to Seeing Red, and we appreciate your participation in it. So thank you very much.
Mark, you look so different in a button down, not in your jersey.
I see. Next this year, man. Rob Hack, 9-year, I think, season ticket holder. First, Ali, thank you for keeping your word. You and I had a conversation at the last town hall. I was one of the last people here. I'd said that even with all the abuse and the difficulty, it was a great forum. You said you had intended to do it again. Thank you for keeping your word. Dax, I have a small request. You mentioned the NYCFC game. Can you please thank Miazga? His goal celebration had me laughing my ass off. To the point of I have 3 or 4 friends in my office that are FC fans, and being able to rub that in their face was priceless. Thank you. Question for Ali. I was also the guy that asked about allocation money at the last meeting. I thank you for answering it. I didn't understand your answer, but thank you. So 2 follow-ups. How much allocation money do we have? And where does that put us ranking compared to other teams, and how much we can use?
So we don't. This is one of those contract questions that you answer with, club policy. We don't disclose the budget and we don't disclose the terms. Allocation is it's a mechanism that the league uses to allow teams to have bigger budgets. Towards the end of the season, you typically don't have as much allocation as you usually do, because you usually are blowing through it, in the beginning of the season in the primary transfer window. And then, you're looking to make a move. We made 2 moves in the summer, and you blow through a little bit more allocation towards the end of the year. So, I'm anticipating more allocation next year. We've got to do some re-signings. We've got to, and we still need to look to improve the team. So, without telling you to the dollar, to the cent, how much allocation we have right now. We're expecting more. We've got to be creative about it because the team's doing really well, and a lot of guys have really stepped up to the plate.
Do teams know how much other teams have respectively on that list?
So typically the league will disclose, not on a regular basis, but if you need if you need the information, you can request it from the league office in terms of how much allocation a team needs. And typically that type of transparency is primarily used to allow for trade activity to happen and a lot of those types of things.
Thank you.
I'm doing a really bad job at cutting off the follow-up questions. So just, again, for the rest of the line there, just keep it to 1 question, please, so we can, because we want to get everybody in and get you guys home in a good hour. Okay.
Hi, my name's David Santos. I've been here since the stadium opened. Congratulations, guys. This is the best I've seen you guys play since I started here. And my question is related to that, and it's to Dax. When Thierry came here, before he came here, it was a lot of kick and run soccer. It was not pretty. He came here, he said he wanted to play possession, and it was working. But unfortunately, when you have a superstar that big, he demands the ball, he wants the ball, and things get clogged down in the midfield. And as NYFC sees, as we can see with them right now, with Villa, with Lampard, they're having a hard time. They demand the ball. What do you think the lack of a star player, a superstar, globally named star, does to this team in terms of making the game more fluid for you guys?
That's a great question. First off, let me just say that you're very astute. You see the game well. When you have a guy like Thierry Henry, which I'm sure everyone in this room can attest to, it's a sight to behold. And it was an absolute honor playing with him and being able to learn from him. He's given everyone in this room, including myself, plenty of unbelievable moments that we'll be able to remember forever just because of the type of player he was. And I think in this league, it's hard. You have to choose which route you want to go. And as we've seen with big name players, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I mean, LA Galaxy have done that for a couple of years now, and it's been very successful for them. So I think for us, and for myself and for the coaching staff, the biggest shift was just, and I've had this question in the media, The biggest shift was just the fact that we believed in the guys in the locker room. Even when we had a lot of older players leave, a lot of very talented players leave, we still believed in the system and the type of style that we wanted to play, the types of players that we were going to go out and get. It was going to make things easier, but that doesn't come overnight. It comes with hard work. It comes with dedication. It comes with a lot of work in the video room. And so one thing I have said is that the reason this team is so successful is because we don't have a trump card anymore. Thierry Henry is a trump card. He's a guy that you can go to when things aren't going well and when we're losing, and he will find the ball. He will go wherever he needs to go to find it, and he can make something happen out of nothing. I mean, we've seen that numerous times. We have a lot of very good players on our team right now, but we don't have a guy that's capable of doing what Thierry Henry is capable of doing. So that means every single player that's on the field has to raise their level 10, 15%. And with the belief that Jesse gives us, with the confidence that Jesse and the coaching staff give us, every player has the ability to raise their level 10 to 15% in any given game. So the great thing about playing for this team is that we can hurt you in so many different ways. We don't just have Thierry Henry, give him the ball, he's going to make a great pass or he's going to make a great goal. We have so many different guys that are having really good seasons that can hurt you on any given day. I mean, I think everyone in this room would be lying if they said they knew who Mike Grella was before this season. And the guy's been fantastic. So you have to you have to always make sure that when you step on the field, you have 11 guys, and more to the point, you have 18 guys that are ready to step on the field and do a job. And so when everyone picks up their level 10 to 15%, knowing that we don't have the type of game changer that we used to have in the past, I think that makes everyone's job a little bit easier.
Good luck this year.
I just want to pick up on what Dax said. What Dax just elaborated on is what we've been trying to do since day one. We know there's been a lot of change within this organization over the last 10 years, in Jesse's seat and my seat. And so, one of the first things that we wanted to do was define kind of what's the identity of not just the first team, but of this entire club, right? It's more than just the first team. It's the fans. It's the USL team. It's our academy. So what do we stand for? What's our philosophy, right? And so it's not just our philosophy of being a team-first mentality, but that's not just how we play, but it's how we interact, it's how we make decisions, it's how we operate. And it's been an unbelievable experience to see and to work with Dax and to work with Jesse and Marc de Grand Prix as well. And it's been awesome. And we hope that we can create this identity and be part of this identity and continue to build on it. And it makes you happy and it makes you proud and you appreciate that. We want this Red Bull way of and how we're playing to live on for many years to come, so you can appreciate and enjoy that every night.
Hi guys, I'm TJ, first year season ticket holder. I've been attending games for a few years now, but I think for a lot of reasons, I decided to become a season ticket holder for the first time this year, and that's a reflection of what Jesse and all the players on the field, and to an extent, Ali has done in building a team that is just a lot of fun to watch. So much credit to you guys. I really like watching that team every time I can go to the arena and see it. And I wanted to give a quick shout out to Mark Fishkin, who was just up here, asked a great question, and his podcast, Seeing Red, is really great, so everybody can check it out. It will probably be out tomorrow. I think Lloyd Sam is on the show. Mark can interject.
We're taping tomorrow night.
Oh, you're taping. It's kind of a less happy question, but I feel like I have to ask it. There's a new rival team across the river, obviously, that we won't refer to by their name because, frankly, I don't want to dignify them like they. And there's been a few incidents between the fan bases. I don't want to go into the incident that happened in Newark because that's not related to what I'm asking about. At the first game between these two teams, there was an incident where the supporters did something. I'm not exactly sure of all the specifics of. Flair was involved, and that resulted in their allocation being cut for the next game that they played at the stadium. And when our fans went to Yankee Stadium, and I'm in the supporter section, so I traveled with the supporters, we got a less than desirable setup where it was very difficult for our capos to organize chants. And overall, from all these incidents, I'm getting the vibe that there is not a good relationship between the two front offices. This is mostly a question for Mark, I would say. Could you elaborate on the relationship between this club's front office and New York City's front office, and how maybe you guys can try to prevent further problems such as incidents that actually happen at the stadium. Again, I don't want this to be about a fight between the supporters that goes on outside of the stadium, that will prevent further fans from getting upset, further allocation cuts, further just general tension amongst the supporters.
Good question. First and foremost, after the first match, when there was an incident and we cut their allocation down, the number one priority we have as an organization is the safety of our fans that come in and game out, week in and week out. So we took that decision very carefully. We communicated it to New York City FC, their supporters group leaders, and the only reason we did it was for the safety of our fans, right? They're a new club. They are learning their way, and managing supporters is not easy. So they will, you all know, right? We have Ruff and his crew who do a phenomenal job for us. But ultimately, it was about the safety of our fans. The relationship between the two front offices is great. We communicate openly. We want to make sure that both teams succeed off the field. On the field, we take care of business. And ultimately, I don't think you're going to see an increased allocation for their group next year in our arena until we have confidence in their abilities to manage their supporters. Because the safety of our fans is our priority, and we can't jeopardize that.
This is a sensitive subject, so I appreciate the honesty on it. Thank you very much.
Hi, Tina.
Hi, how are you?
Fellow Nutley resident. How are you?
Yes, born and raised.
So 2 questions, okay, for Jesse and for Dax. So Jesse, compliments to you for your style of play, your system of play. It's tremendous. And to follow up what Dax said, you have a lot of people to go to now. How did you develop that and you brought it to this level? And sometimes guys are too fine and they're trying to find other people. And how do you promote them? Because you get to the 18 fast. Your team gets there quickly and is greatly appreciated. I love it. I love the style. How do you promote the individuals now to take more ownership and finish? Because sometimes they look like they're looking to pass off to one individual, where you're a team of many people now that could do the job very clearly. So I really appreciate it.
Okay, so you're asking how do we finish more plays?
More individuals other than one player finishing themselves. Because in the last game, I noticed that some guys were looking for that third or fourth.
Yeah.
When they had an obvious opportunity to score.
Yeah. Well, it's part of the makeup of our players, I think. That, you know, I mean, it's funny to have a striker who scores so many goals like Bradley be so humble and be so generous and so team-oriented. You know, most strikers think about solely how many goals they're going to score. That's what Ollie was like when he played.
That's good.
But, you know, I mean, so these guys are all very humble and very team-oriented, and oftentimes they do choose to play the pass instead of take the shot. You know, with Sasha specifically, I've encouraged him to be more selfish. I've asked him to take more touches around the goal and try to be more aggressive. Even when Dax comes forward, I think there's times where he has more opportunities where he can look for shots. And so all these guys, I think, you know, we've created a lot of sophistication into what we do in the final third and what the ideas are and concepts and how they relate with each other. But, you know, I mean, there's always a balance. I think, you know, Bradley's been in a good way, and I think his ability to set up plays this year, more so than last year, has made us very good. And I think I like their unselfishness. I like the fact that they like to share the ball, and I like the fact that they want to see other players and other teammates be successful. So I think it's a good problem to have, but we are encouraging to be more aggressive, you know, in the final third.
Yeah. And for you, Dax, tremendous player. Love your style. Love the way you go at the game. Last game, you seemed to be a little reserved. So this goes to I don't know, it was obvious, but you did a great job still. The future, so looking forward now at this point in the season, what are you doing yourself physically and mentally to prepare you for this run?
Great question. I think that I've just used my experience throughout my career to try to figure out what works best for me. And as you get to this point in the season, you know, your body starts to feel a little tired. So I think Jesse and the staff do a great job of staying on top of us. Like I said, I mean, we have an app every morning, and we got to fill it out. And if not, you get fined. So I've lost some money in my wallet for not filling out that stupid app. But it does a good job of keeping guys on top of how they feel. And the one positive is, like, you know, Jesse said, it's not to babysit us, it's to see how guys are feeling. And I mean, the guys that have played really heavy minutes this year, like myself, like Sasha, Felipe, Lloyd, Sam, I mean, it's good for us to fill it out. And then when Jesse sees us in the morning, he says, oh, well, I see that you're, you know, a little bit more tired today than you were yesterday or 2 days ago. Would you like to be a neutral? And that kind of, you know, takes a little bit of the pressure and the stress off you of having to go and you know, be the hardest working player in training. You can kind of still train and get what you need out of training, but you don't need to be running all over the place. So it's little things like that. It's your diet. I've learned a lot about my body and just what works for me the past couple of years. I mean, we've ever since I've been on the Red Bulls, you know, we've made the playoffs every year, and we've tried to make, you know, some runs a little bit deeper than others, but we've been playing on into, you know, October and November. You know, so I feel like I have a good grasp on what I need to do to keep myself going mentally, physically, and all of that. And so that just comes with experience. And I feel like, you know, we have another bye week. You know, who knows why? We can't ever seem to get too many games in a row here, but it'll be good. You know, we're gonna have a couple days off, and we're gonna really make sure that we put everything that we've accomplished this year in the rear view. And that's, I think, the best part about this team is that once we get a good result, we just kind of move on and we say we need to focus on what's going to happen in the next game, and we're going to take it one game at a time and physically, mentally be ready to go.
My name is Ethan, season ticket holder for I think 5 years now. My question is, this year we seem to have hired security for the first time in many years. And they're a little overzealous at their job, especially standing at the top of the sections. You leave for a minute to go to the bathroom, you come back, they want to see your ticket, they want to see your red card, they want to inspect the red card to see your specific seat. I know where I sit, I've been doing it long enough, we've all been doing it long enough. It takes away from me seeing the game, it creates lines, it creates people who are holding food having problems. We should have consistently the same person at the top of each section. I was told we'd have this, we haven't had it. What are we doing to kind of correct the problem of too much security? And I've heard from other fans upstairs, there's no security, and that's a problem. So I just want to know what we're doing to kind of work out some of the kinks in the security.
That's a fair question. In terms of added security this year, as I said, part of our, you know, institutional focus as an organization is really to make sure that the fan experience is the best in the business. And I talked about fan security and safety. So we made a conscious effort this year to add folks and add security individuals around the stadium, right? To that end, last year, when I walked around the stadium, I was able to walk freely up and down and go sit wherever I wanted, right? And there's folks like you, season ticket holders, who pay their hard-earned money to be here and be in their seats, and it's the most annoying concept when you get to your seat and someone's sitting there that shouldn't be there. So that's why now the ushers are being more diligent. Maybe in your section they're being a little too diligent, and we're going to work on that. In terms of having the same usher at the top of your sections on game in, game out, it's challenging, right? We outsource this to the best partners in the world that do this business. They work all over the area. And we have 17 home matches, and to have the same person there consistently committed to only working at Red Bull Arena becomes difficult because we don't have a lot of dates for them. So they got to fill their calendar, and ultimately it becomes a scheduling nightmare for Joe and his team back there. But they do their best to make sure we have the best folks here, and we'll address your concerns with them and make sure that you don't get harassed every game trying to get back to your seats.
My name is Adrian. I'm a 3-year ticket holder. My first question is for Mark. So a lot of people are very excited about Matt Miazga and Sean Davis being all from like the local area. I wanted to hear from like you at least what your plan is for, you know, I know you talked about how you really wanted to change the academy and really like improve it, but where are we as far as the stage going, like from getting people from the academy and bringing them up to like really like the first team level, like, you know, how they do in Europe? I mean, is that like in the future plans?
Yeah, I can answer that. That's a really good question. It's in the immediate plans, and it's already been happening. So when you look at great thing about the USL team this year, it's only been running for about 5 months, but if you watch those games, we've had a ton of high school players that are from our academy playing in those games. It's really been great. I mean, Derek Etienne is a freshman at University of Virginia, and you saw his development just skyrocket over the last 3 months. It really has been awesome. So it's like I said, youth development and local players and investing in local players is a big part of who we want to be. We always want to win MLS Cup. It would be great if we could win MLS Cup, and the 11 guys on the field are from this local area. So it's a big part of who we want to be, for sure.
I had a discussion with Dax and the Leadership Council earlier in the year that we were going to bring in a lot of young players, and it was part of their jobs to welcome them into the team when they're around, okay? To demand a lot out of them, but also to welcome them and to make it a place where young players can develop. They've done a great job of that. And believe me, it's not always easy. Dax on certain days is looking for good training, and we've got 16, 17, 18-year-olds who have a long way to go before they're at Dax's level, and some days it can be irritating for the veteran guys, right? But they've all stayed on target, and they've all done a good job of help mentoring these guys. They've obviously done a good job with guys like Matt and Sean, but certainly part of making this a long-term project and cyclical and everything else is our ability as a first team, as a coaching staff, to help to invest time on the field with first team players and help them understand how they can contribute, how they can grow, how they can get better, and ultimately how they can live their dream to play on this stadium. So, a lot of the credit goes to the veteran guys and what they've done.
Next question.
Hello, my name is Victor. I've been a season ticket holder for 20 years, RB120. Couldn't be more prouder. We have a great team. We have a beautiful stadium, and I hear a lot of talk about making history. We do have history as well. For first timers who come to the arena, they see the great current team and stuff, and I feel there can be a lot more history displayed for those first timers, for the young kids to see. I know you have a little display here in the pub area, but it's only exclusive to Red Card members. I understand you have the best 20 and 20 there, which, don't get me started, I don't know who brought up the candidates. Mark Semioli should be there. But for example, some of the jerseys that are listed there as well. You actually have the MLS All-Star game. It's incorrectly dated, so just to give you the heads up. So I would love to see some more MetroStar history outside this pub area access for the other fans, so I could show my children one day, hey, this is Peter Vermees, even though he's a coach now but he was one of the original. Also, I would love to see a throwback jersey day in this year. Celebrating the 20 years.
First, thank you for being a 20-year season ticket holder. In terms of displaying our history in the stadium, right? When I came back last year, I think I made it clear that we would embrace our history, and we've taken small but consistent steps since I've been here. And this year with the 20 and 20, we're honoring guys from the Metro Stars history, the Red Bulls, and it's a combined historical look at the 20 years we've had. And we want to make sure that when we unveil either artifacts, honor historical moments, that we do it in an authentic and credible way. And you're going to see more of it as our 20th anniversary is celebrated next year also with the MLS celebrating its 20th year. And you're going to see a consistent effort, and you're going to see more of it along the stadium all over the place. I can promise you that it's just going to keep on improving. And we welcome your feedback, and we're going to keep adding to the storied history that's been in this franchise. Throwback jersey, guys. We've talked about it many times. Listen, ultimately, the MLS is steering teams away from third kits. I know there's a few teams that have been grandfathered in, and there's one team that's going to consistently have it because they have the volume to generate the demand, right? Financially, right now, we do not generate enough sales of our current jerseys to ask Adidas to create a throwback jersey. It just makes it doesn't make financial sense for the MLS, for us, and for Adidas. So until we reach the minimum thresholds, we won't get there.
But that's a seller. That's going to sell. I can only own so many Red Bulls jerseys. Give me the throwback jersey.
Guys, it's not going to happen this year. I said it. MLS has been part of the process. I wish I could give you a better answer, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's not going to happen this year or in the future right now until we reach certain levels in sales. All right?
Next question.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Tyrone Morrison. I've been a season ticket holder for 5 years. And I just want to commend you, Mark, on your fantastic team, Tim and his crew. They're the best in Major League Soccer. Special shout out to Steve, Phil, and Jamie. Also, thank you, MSG, for bringing Red Bull coverage. Really appreciate it. Special shout out. Jesse, just want to thank you for bringing in quality American players, such as Sasha, Mike, and Zizo. Spot on. Question for you, concern. Recently, you guys hired an Argentinian DP, and this weekend, the Brazilian national team will be here. Have you considered getting a Brazilian DP? Judging by the fact that there's a sizable Brazilian population across the bridge, and we should be able to attract them. And the beauty of attracting them is that they can walk to the stadium, and that will cut down on the traffic.
In terms of player acquisition, we've been saying from day one, we want to bring players in that fit who we are as a team, fit our locker room, are like-minded, like Dax. And Gonzalo is, he's from Argentina, but we didn't look at that. We met with him, and he's a great guy. He's got a young family. He works his tail off, just like Dax, just like Sasha, and a lot of the other guys that you mentioned in your list, Grella, Zizzo, those guys. So that's kind of our profile. We know what type of players that we want to bring into the club, and it makes it a lot easier for us to scout and recruit players. So, it's a global market where you can find players all over the world in Central and South America, and they've got a wealth of talent in those areas. But it's important that, like we said earlier, we really clearly defined who we are as a club and the style of play that we have and the type of players and the type of people and human beings that we want in our locker room and also as part of our staff. And so far, it's been fantastic. And we've got really, really good people. Everyone's buying in, and we'll continue to do that.
To be left out, Dax.
Sorry. We have one more question.
No, you belong on the national team.
Oh, all right, we have one more question. This is our last question, and then we are going to have to release Dax and Jesse right away because they have to get back home for training tomorrow, and we, of course, don't want to take away any of their sleep because Dax doesn't want to get another fine. So, so they will be leaving us immediately after this question, but go ahead, sir.
My name is Gary Redmond, season ticket holder for 17, now make it 18 years as a renewed for 2016. What a difference 7 months make. Last time I was sitting at this very podium, I basically dared to ask the organization to be better by asking a very simple question. When was this team going to be known to doing the right things instead of consistently doing the wrong things? The only thing I have to say to Mark, Jesse, Ali, and especially to you, Dax, congratulations on your engagement, is to display gratitude. You guys have responded to my question in a way that I never thought a sports team has, especially a team that I personally care about. To each of you gentlemen, thank you, well done. The only suggestion I have, that chip on your shoulder that you started from training camp, don't take it off. It serves you well. My question, and this is directed at Mark. We talk about the very place we call home, Red Bull Arena. Have you ever thought about doing something with MSG to do sort of like a behind the scenes of what happens at this place at game day, to serve not only as a promotional place, for a promotional piece for something that obviously is one of the crown jewels of MLS Stadia. But at least to me, as a long-term fan, to act as the ultimate trump card, to especially to the blue team, where they have a field, but we, ladies and gentlemen, have a home.
Gary, thank you. I assume you've been talking to Jason and Tina, but yeah, part of the Red Bulls Insiders, at some point you will see a behind-the-scenes look of what goes on in this building on game days, and I agree with you 100%. This is the greatest field, greatest home because of you guys and what the energy you bring into it. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say thank you to our staff, right? I think someone mentioned it, but they went through hell and back. We get to stand up here and take your questions, but ultimately at the end of the day, we're up here because of 120 folks who give their blood, sweat, and tears daily to make this organization succeed, and some have been through ups and downs, and they've stuck with us all along, and I think without them, we wouldn't be here. So I want to thank the folks who are here and the folks who are at home for everything they've done for this organization over the years.
Well, thank you, ladies
Hang on,
and gentlemen.
Tina, can I say one more thing? Sorry. I just wanted to wrap up to say appreciate the patience, all right, and the support. And I want, there's a plan in place, okay? There is a plan. And I think from day one, the structure that Ollie's put in place, the way that we've tried to play as a team, the commitment we've had from not just the players, but how Mark just talks, the entire organization. It has been an absolute pleasure to work in this building and for this club. And it's due to you guys. It's due to all the 120 people. It's due to all the people at the training facility. I've never been part of something where I feel like everybody gives everything they have and believes in each other and supports each other and helps each other be successful. We want you guys to feel part of that. I hope you do, okay? And we're not perfect. I will say that right now. We've made mistakes along the way, but we've tried every day to now honor the plan, honor the process, put something in place that is long-term and something that we can all look at and say, that's something, okay? It's not perfect, but it's something, and it has a plan, and it has a progression, and it's something to be proud of, okay? I know we all feel it on the inside. I hope you guys feel it on game day, all right? I hope you guys feel it by the way that those guys play for each other on the field. That was ultimately how I said I was going to be judged, right? And I think I'm proud of what that group has accomplished already. There's so much more to go, but that group steps on the field. They believe in each other. They believe in how we play, and they go all the way every day, right? And that's all part of the overall identity and plan that we're putting in place. So thanks for your patience. Keep coming. Keep coming.
And that concludes the New York Red Bulls Town Hall 2.0. Again, Dax, Ali, Jesse, Mark, thank you. And thank you, supporters. You guys are a great crowd.